Hello, friends. So, hello. This might be a very quick video. My daughter is attempting to nap and it's not going super well. So, we're just gonna do our best. So I just want to say hello. And if you are new to me, welcome to this live and this video. If you're watching the replay, my name is Shakti. I'm a human design specialist and EFT practitioner. I combine these two things. And I primarily work with entrepreneurs to help optimize their business, live their genius, stop creating chaos, etc., etc. I've also worked with parents and using these skill sets, and I also work with lots of different clients depending on what the trauma or the hang up is in their life, right? So I sent out an email today to my list. If you're on my list, you got this email, and it's like very thorough and very detailed. So go ahead and read that email. It'll be more thorough likely than this live stream. But I was talking about inside of that email how there will be moments in your path when your authority, which I feel like in the spiritual world, everybody's like your intuition, trust your intuition is guiding you. And so in human design, we use the language authority. Authority for me is really the mechanics of your intuition. And every single person has a different intuition. They have a different guiding system. They have a different way of hearing answers and finding their way. So when you learn to work with your authority, which is actually key and cornerstone in design, it's one of the very first things that come up when you have a design reading. It's one of the very first things I make sure entrepreneurs understand when it comes to making business decisions that they later don't regret. Authority. It always comes down to authority. When you're learning to work with authority and you're learning to distinguish what is authority, what is fear, what is authority, what is anxiety, what is authority, what is panic, right? There's a learning curve. It's not automatic. It's not like you're going to learn about your authority and immediately you're going to get it and there's not going to be like any hang up. Okay, there is a learning curve. One of the things about your authority is that it doesn't speak negatively and it doesn't put pressure on you. There might be moments of urgency depending on like the decision that you have to make and if you have to make it now, like if it's a pressing time decision, but you're never going to feel pressured by your authority. Okay? So I'm speaking to those that are working with your authority, understanding the practice of working with authority. There are going to be moments when your authority is going to guide you to a decision that is going to feel uncomfortable for you. It's going to be about your relationship, or about your job, or about your business, or about something else. That's going to feel triggering to you, likely because of conditioning that you have around that decision, likely because you've had negative experiences before, likely because of the way that you grew up. Whatever the reason is, your authority is going to say this is the correct decision, and inside of you, you're going to have a response to that. The temptation when that happens, I see it a lot with my clients, is to try and work their way around authority, to try and avoid making that decision, to try and avoid following what they know is correct, because the fear is so strong, it paralyzes them. So, what I'm going to offer you today is what to do when that happens. So what to do when you are presented with a decision or a direction by way of your authority and the fear slaps you. And this can be something like you need to leave your marriage, you need to close this business and start a new one, you are in the wrong job, you need to change your lifestyle, whatever the thing is that your authority is communicating to you, directing you, showing you, right? And then you feel this upsurge in resistance. You feel like a fear or a nervousness or however you would describe that. Instead of trying to avoid the truth of what you're being shown or being told, the key here to be able to work with your authority is to regulate the fear. So whatever the fear is that you're afraid will happen, whatever consequence you think is going to come, as a result of you following your authority obediently. Whatever that fear is, I'll give you some examples that are tangible. If I leave my marriage, I'm going to hurt my kids. If I leave my marriage, I will be financially destitute. If I leave this job, I won't be able to make it financially. If I lose the weight, I will become a target for physical assault. These are all different varying examples of fears that might come up when you are following a guidance that you're receiving from your authority. So the thing to do next is to find a way to disengage the fear, to normalize the fear in your system so it doesn't feel like it's overriding everything else. Okay? This is where I use EFT a lot because regulation is king. Regulation is it. When you can take a fear and you can say it out loud and you can regulate it in your system and you no longer feel triggered when you talk about it or you say it, you've won the game. Because now you're not being driven by fear, you're being driven by what you actually want. And what's so interesting, and this actually just happened to a client of mine, and we've been talking about it since yesterday. This client kind of knew that this work that she was doing, this business that she was in, was not a good match for her. She's been known that for a while, like the structure of the business. But there was this resistance to leaving, and there was this constant trying to make it work, trying to make it work. Like, how can I plug this in? How can I do this? How can I do that? And it's been years of that and not really being able to realize what the problem was. And it wasn't until we did all these sessions around tapping and tapping away different stories, different aspects of her story that had to do with different trauma points, and a lot of it tied to her family, responsibility, obligations, different things. And when we did all of that work, she came to the point where she realized, holy shit, I'm doing this thing. I'm doing this. I have this pattern and it's making me miserable. And it's actually the reason why I've been miserable in business for all of this time. And then she asked this question today to me. She said, why couldn't I see this before? And I said, because trauma. Because your trauma, your conditioning colors everything. It literally keeps you from seeing what's correct for you. Your dysregulated system is keeping you from seeing what's correct for you. And then your dysregulated system is keeping you afraid from pursuing what is correct for you because there's threat there, right? So, addressing the fear is first. You can't get anywhere without addressing that fear, without making the fear normalize in your system. Like, oh, okay. There's a lot of different ways to do this. I prefer somatic practices, breath work, EFT, EMDR. There's Psyche. You can do this through meditation too. You can do this through contemplation. There's a lot of different ways to get there, but the key is that you do, because when you stop being afraid of that, when you stop the resistance, right? Where you resist persists. When you stop the resistance and you just allow, and it becomes normal and it's no longer holding you hostage emotionally, you stop being afraid of the correct thing. And you're able to make decisions with a shit ton more clarity than you were before. So practice this. Practice this the next time your authority says, it's time to make this call. It's time to go here. It's time to do this. And you feel all of that resistance come up. Ask yourself, how can I neutralize this in my system right now? And see what comes to your mind. See where you're led for that. How can I neutralize this in my system so that I can move forward and do what's correct for me without feeling this fear or being held hostage in this way by conditioning, right? Wonderful. So a lot of people don't know that EMDR and EFT are actually energy psychology therapies. Like they come from the same field. It is called energy psychology. A lot of people don't know about energy psychology because it's relatively new. Energy psychology is a form of addressing these nervous system interruptions that happen in the body. The reason a lot of people know more about EMDR than they do EFT or Psyche, for example, which are two other formats of this, is because psychologists and psychiatrists took EMDR under their wing and decided that they were going to use that in their practice. And so now everybody's like, oh, EMDR is the way. It's not always the way for everybody. I will say this. I've had a couple clients do MDR and it's too much because it can be hyper triggering. That's the one thing I don't like about it, is that it re-triggers trauma sometimes. So just be mindful of that. If you find yourself in a session and you're like, I'm hyperventilating and I have no way of going, like calming down from there, then it might not be the therapy for you. Just FYI. For some people, it's really fast and effective. For some people, it's too much. It just depends on where you are. So regulation is key. Don't ignore your authority. Just regulate what you're resisting, and then you'll find your way. You'll clear that up. Okay. I have yet to work with anybody where I didn't see that happen. I have yet to work with anybody who came with a whole bunch of resistances, was willing to knock them down. We knocked them down and their life didn't completely transform for the better. I haven't seen it yet. So I know it works because it's worked with many different kinds of people, many different kinds of trauma, many different kinds of resistances. Okay. So don't ignore your authority. Don't ignore your intuition. Just regulate what you're afraid of. This will become increasingly important as we head into the new year, because one thing about resolutions, the reason I think a lot of people don't nail their resolutions, the reason I think a lot of people set New Year's resolutions and like they don't work out, is because their resolution isn't regulated in their system. So it's kind of like saying, you know, I want to go to the moon and you have no ability to get there. Like you literally can't get there. You don't have a rocket, you don't have a way of understanding how to get up there. Like you don't have anything. You're just like, oh, I want to go to the moon. And it's like, your subconscious is like, we can't fucking get to the moon. That's not fucking happening. Right? That's the same reason why you set resolutions and then you don't get where you want to go, because your subconscious mind is like, that's not regulated in us. That's not normal. That can't happen. It doesn't work that way. That's what it's saying, right? In the down low, right? So your conscious mind is all like, we're gonna do this, and your subconscious mind is like, the fuck, no, we're not. Absolutely no, that's not happening. So just know that it's not about willpower. It's not that you don't have willpower. It's not that you suck. It's not that you can't keep promises to yourself. It's not any of those things. It's just the goal that you're going for is not regulated in your system. It's not normal. It's not normalized. It doesn't feel like an of course. It doesn't feel like a normal. It doesn't feel like an absolutely. It doesn't feel like, yeah, no big deal. Okay? And when it doesn't feel like that, you can't have it. It won't happen because it's too big. It's too far out. It's too much. Okay? Is this making sense? I just want to immediately disentangle all of this guilt that so many of us have about like New Year's resolutions. I just want you to know, like, you're not defective, like you're not broken. Nothing is wrong with you. It's just, it's not normalized in your system. So you can't have it yet, right? You have to make it seem like a normal thing, and then you can have it, and then it's all good, right? Cool. So I wish you all a very grace-filled beginning of next year, that you decide that you're going to go into 2023 full of grace for yourself, full of patience for yourself, full of optimism and joy, and that you are going to say yes to the things that get you closer to what it is that you really desire in life, and that open the doors for you and make you more receptive to yourself and make you more aligned with yourself, and that you're going to start to say no to all the bullshit that's trying to keep you down, that's trying to keep you away from all that, you know, and that you're going to regulate any fear or resistance that you have to letting those things go so that they don't control your life, so that you're no longer held hostage. Cool? All right. P.S. in the comments, we have links set up for you for anything that you want to check out for current offers. My mastermind is, of course, open. I'm talking a lot about the mastermind because there's going to be a close date for that, obviously, because we have to start. And I am getting some emails. Some of you have already applied for the mastermind and it's just not a good fit for you based on what you've shared in your email. So please make sure you are checking your emails, because I am responding. Like, I'm reading through all the applications in detail and I'm responding. And I'm just kind of reflecting with you the things that you're sharing. And for some of you, I don't know if this is going to be the place that you want to be. I have other ways that I can support you, but I don't know if the mastermind is going to be it for you. So just make sure that you're actually checking your emails so you can see my responses. Okay. All right, darlings. I love y'all. Happy New Year if I don't see you before then.